first Web 2.0 tool that I'd like to share with you is called Poplet. You can access Poplet by going to www.poplet.com. This is a website used to create mind maps. While there are lots of mind mapping websites out there for you to use, such as bubble.us and iMindMap, this is one of the easier ones that I have found to use, and therefore probably one of the most effective to use in the classroom, especially for younger kids. When you first go to poplet.com, you'll see a screen that looks like this. Logging in is up here at the top. If you choose to log in and create an account, your information can be saved. Otherwise, your Poplets are for one-time views only. I've already logged into a Poplet screen. Once you've logged in, it'll look like this. You have a catalog of Poplets you've created in the past, but you also have the ability to look at public Poplets. These are Poplets created by other people. You can see smaller versions of the Poplets, and if you were to choose one of them, you can view them just as the creator viewed them. As you get to a Poplet, you're able to zoom in to read information more clearly, this one obviously in a language I don't understand, and go home to a new Poplet if you wanted to. You could also choose one of the examples over here. These are more content-based for school. Once you get to a Poplet, like I said, you can zoom and move around. You'll notice that this Poplet is in color. This is popular. If you go back to your home screen and go back to your Poplets, you can begin to edit and create your own. A Poplet here has been started. This Poplet for a communication arts class is on punctuation. A student could list out different kinds of punctuation and their functions. If you notice that a piece of punctuation is missing, you can simply click the Poplet and click the arrow here to create a brand new one. If then you want to add something like parentheses, you simply type it in. Students can edit very quickly on these. They can even share and collaborate their Poplets with one another. Once you have the information that you want inside of your Poplet boxes, you can start to make some changes. For example, quotation marks are used in dialogue to show when a character is speaking. Once a student has this information added in, they can do things like changing the text size to extremely large or extremely small, depending on their purpose. They can also change the color of the information on the screen, like the roundabout here. And if they wanted to, they could add in images or even soundbite files to go with their Poplet. What I like most about Poplet is that it is limited. There's not all these gadgets and things that you can do with it, so students can create things relatively quickly and manipulate them around the screen. If you go to the gear here, it gives you many more options of things that you can do with your Poplet: organizing, editing, viewing in presentation modes, exporting to different files. Poplet is a very simple program that students can use very simply. As compared to its other counterparts, Poplet is much easier to use in my experience. I hope you'll visit poplet.com. The next Web 2.0 tool that I'd like to share with you is called Powtoon. You can easily access this tool by going to www.powtoon.com. Once you've accessed the website, you'll notice a screen that looks like this. I am already logged in the top right-hand corner, but you can create a membership for yourself to log yourself in as well. To get started with Powtoon, you can first scroll to the very bottom of the home screen and look at some different tutorials about Powtoon. Next, you can simply hit the Start Now button at the bottom of your screen. This will take you to what's called templates. The templates are available to you to use to make your life just a little bit easier. With the templates, you can have creative presentations and infuse your own information in them to make them work for you. If the template is not something that you like, you could also use a blank template and start from scratch. For our purposes today, we're going to choose a template that has already been created. This template is called My Resume. It would be a great one to use for a project in the beginning of a course, the beginning of a class, where students need to do what a lot of us call a to know you project. Instead of doing a speech that lasts just a couple of minutes, you would be able to do a Powtoon that students could add images and animation to make things much more interesting. The disadvantage to using Powtoon would be that students have to first get used to the functions on the program. This wouldn't take long though, considering that many of the functions are similar to what you'd see in a Microsoft program, as you'll see shortly whenever the Powtoon loads. For that one disadvantage, there sure are a lot of advantages to Powtoon. This can be used for both a teacher and a student to create lessons and or presentations for your classmates. Powtoon is free, but you can buy an education version for only $16 a year. Now that our program has loaded, you can see some very important things. One, you have what's called the stage in the middle, where your Powtoon is going to be shown. On the left-hand side, you have a slide menu. On the top, a regular menu of text and font pieces. On the right-hand side, then, you have your text effects, image holders, characters, and so on. The most important part of the Powtoon that's different from a PowerPoint presentation is the timeline down here at the bottom. With this timeline, you can control your video as you move so that you can make the smallest, most minute changes that make a big difference in your overall appeal of your final product. The first thing you should do when you access a Powtoon for the very first time is watch your video all the way through to get a feel for the movement. Let's watch a little bit of this video. When you notice a piece of information that you'd like to change, or animation that you'd like to change as well, you can do that very simply. Let's start with the first page. If I scroll over with my timeline key, I notice that it says "My name is" with your name in brackets. I can easily change text by double-clicking and then putting my name in the position of the text that's there. If I like the other information that's on the screen, I can leave it. But if I wanted to change anything else, like this lady here, I could also do that. Over on the right-hand side, there are lots of different animations that you can choose. For example, this lady could be thinking, or she could be happy. Let's make her happy. By choosing the swap button right here, I can easily swap out the choices and put in my "Hello, my name is Amy Atler" instead of just the regular one that was there. You can also resize the items relatively easily by dragging. Now that I've made a couple of changes, I can move my timeline back to the very beginning and watch my name come across. When you get to another page that you want to change, do the exact same activity. If I wanted to change creative to productive, double-click and change the text. If I wanted to make it colorful, I can do that too by clicking up at the top and changing it to lime green instead, just to be fun and creative. You can also add other pictures and text into it. I don't know why you'd want the sleepy man, but if you did, he's there. If you don't like it, you simply hit your delete key and it's gone. Powtoon has lots of different functions for the teacher and the student. It's a great way to keep your presentations engaging for others. It's also terrific because students can re-watch presentations without the teacher having to repeat everything that he or she says. For the small disadvantages, there are certainly a lot of advantages to using Powtoon. And one of the last advantages I'd like to share before we end is that Powtoon can be shared freely on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. For more information about Powtoon, visit their website. The mobile application that I've chosen to show you is called Evernote. On your computer screen phone, Evernote will show up an elephant in it. You can easily download this app by going to your iTunes store or www.evernote.com and downloading the application for your computer. This app is mainly used for planning and organization. It is particularly well suited for a student who has several classes that they need to keep organizing. This obviously would be in lieu of the good old paper organizer that students do not carry around with them, even though they all should. This could also be used for adult practice in just the exact same way. There are several different features of Evernote that you should be aware of. When you open the Evernote screen, something like this will appear. You have options to change what your open screen looks like, but for me, I like to use the side list view. With Evernote, you're able to create several notes for yourself. You'll notice down here that it keeps a catalog of the dates and times in which you created notes for yourself. I have been making one over the past several days to try and show what that might look like. Evernote is particularly helpful because it allows you to create notebooks. When you click your notebooks, you have categories that you can create on your own and name to keep yourself organized. For a student, they may have their 4 core subjects as well as maybe a personal file for themselves. Inside of each of their subjects, they can click and access the notes particularly for that subject. Each of these will prompt a different guide on the right side of your screen. You're able to put due dates, color code, add alarms for when your assignments are due. You can create things as checklists like this and make changes to them as you go along. Or you can simply just keep a list for yourself of things that need to happen in the future and notes from your teacher. If you go back to your notebooks, you can access different forms of information as well. In math, I was able to take a photo of the quadratic equation. This would be helpful to a student who frequently forgets the quadratic equation. Another wonderful thing about this is that students can share the information with their peers. With a simple click of a button, they're able to share the information out via some sort of social media, or they could even send it to any other Evernote subscribers. As you make changes to your Evernote files, like I did to the ComArts file by adding that I had completed my rough draft and had my draft edited. As you make those changes, if you are logged in and have the app on your cell phone, for example, you can simply click the sync button up in the top corner to make sure that your information is immediately synced to any other devices. This is extremely beneficial. This program is incredibly student-friendly. It links to all other devices, has alarms for reminder for students, and has the ability to take photo notes. The one disadvantage that I can find to this application is that it is web-based. Students who don't have access to internet at home would not be able to access this website. Another disadvantage to using Evernote is that it does have limited space available. On your cell phone, you'll get updates on how much space you've used and how much space you have available still. It's important that students are deleting items as they become old, particularly assignments, after they've already been submitted. Evernote is a terrific way to keep your students organized and even to keep teachers organized.